as society's modernized and cultures have homogenized and
photosynthesized.
Yeah. Do you know, I think, and I'm not a historian.
No, make it up, bro.
I will make it up fully. Yeah.
But at work, it's especially when you're an empathetic person, which I definitely am. You're always trying to connect with people, but also you've got to manage the distance.
Welcome to another episode of the Afters podcast. It's been a minute. I mean, in your world, it hasn't because we've been uploading, but in our world, it has.
Wow.
Because we've been busy living our lives. Devon, particularly.
I'm busy. We're living my life all the time.
You're always living it, or just sometimes?
Sometimes, actually, pretty much all the time. I would say
It's quite a consistent pastime living your life.
Yeah, I haven't taken any breaks yet.
no.
So, today we're going to probably just go through some random topics. We've got a few little things that I'd like to talk about. You wanted to talk about maybe stuff about our future. Where do you see yourself in 10 to 15? It's like a job interview.
It's a bit of an
It's a
interview, isn't
classic.
it? Yeah. So, where do you see yourself within the role in kind of 3 to 5 years' time?
Yeah. So sorry, that was a dull energy from me. I was trying to adjust Bedda's microphone.
I saw there was a little hand signal.
Yeah, I gave him the signel.
I didn't know if it was.
It was meant to be subtle, and now we're talking about it. So I failed.
I didn't know if it was to do a commando roll, or it was to actually just move my mic close to my face.
Do you think like different militaries have different hand signals that would be language based? So if you're
surely.
English and you do this, maybe it means roll, but maybe in Russia it means have a shit in the woods.
You would hope so, because then
You'd hope so.
Well, your enemy's going to know what you're doing, right?
Yes.
But if they're
surely.
that close to seeing your hand signals, I think you got bigger problems.
Well, that's what it's also, you see that in football, but I wonder how often they check. You know, when they take a corner and they'll put a hand up or they'll do a couple of fingers. How often does that
got
change?
to be secret.
But how often does it change? Because surely people start to figure it out.
And there'll be like an Alan Turing who's sort of deciphering what each one means.
There's a small team, like three of the defenders just huddle. And
They're
well,
just
I reckon.
code breakers.
What was it? Yeah, the code breaker.
Yeah.
What was it? The
Enigma
what was
code.
That? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Enigma code.
Like,
You just got to like in the stands with
Yeah,
binoculars,
just
writing
writing
notes
it down. Yeah, he's done that. Right.
3 fingers.
Devon
means.
throws them when we play badminton. He throws
yeah.
like a 3 or a
I
2
like
bar.
to really signal, and I like them to try and figure it out, much like code breakers would.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll miss the shot because I'm so deep in thought.
It's code for both the opponents and your own team to really keep everyone guessing.
What's weird about that though is every time I do it, I will fuck up the serve every time because
Really?
I'm focusing on the.
Devon has this bad habit. I mean, we all have it, but I don't let myself do it. But anytime you make any kind of comment on like, oh, fuck you, we're about to score a point or some shit, any banter,
Any hint of ego or cockiness, you are
Badminton
going to
will
fuck up.
it will humble
every
you.
time.
Badminton knows. It goes,
Yes.
oh, you think you know me? Yeah?
Yes,
You
yeah,
think
yeah,
you know?
Game.
Yeah, you
There's
think you know what you're doing?
There's a
Bruh.
little bit of sentience in the
There is.
shuttlecock.
I'm sure.
It
Really is.
just watches you. It's coming down. Yeah, it's like when I haven't played badminton as much recently, but I used to be really into it. And there's always that time you're like, you're poised for the smash.
Yeah, you know
and
it.
it's just dropping down, and you're like, I'm gonna absolutely.
I've gone
demolish
through
this thing, and then hits the net or you miss it.
I've gone through like deep personal reflection based on those moments. I really feel like badminton lets you learn yourself. And it's like, I had to go through this thing of working out why do I choke shots like that?
Yes.
Like there was particular ones where it was like, it would be the most important shot, the last shot that's going to win the game.
Yes.
And it would come up to net, it's a dead easy kill shot. And I knew, and I'd get in this mental pattern, is like, I'm going to choke this shot.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had to unlearn it. I had to
Yes.
literally get to this thing, and we talk about it all the time, is reset to 0-0.
Oh, every time, 0-0 in your head. Badminton teaches you so much about life.
Honestly,
Like,
it does.
It really, just talking about it, I'm getting excited because I feel like
See it in your
I
eyes.
feel like there's just so many more pages to that book.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. We're in
Wow.
the index. We've hardly even touched the first chapter.
What is it? The
Index at the
foreword.
end, is it?
The foreword.
We're in the forward. Yeah, the index.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
we skipped to the end and then realised we need to go back. Yeah.
We got more reading to do.
yeah. It's like a Christopher Nolan film, just the way you're jumping
In
around.
it, Tenet, you just have no idea what's
yeah,
going
it all
on
comes together at the
until
end.
the epiphany.
Yeah, I hate that about Christopher Nolan. I sat through
what-
Oppenheimer. You've seen Oppenheimer?
I have. Don't spoil it.
Okay, I won't,
Alright.
but I can give you some good critique of it. Have
Okay.
you seen it?
I haven't.
Have you seen any
no.
Christopher Nolan films?
I've seen Tenet. I saw Memento, which was extremely confusing.
Yeah.
But I actually quite liked that. Tenet, I thought it was a bit arbitrary, to be honest.
Yeah. You haven't.
No, Dark Knight's another one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
I love
That's a good film. I feel like
Did you not
because
like
it was
that?
Well, we've got a friend that is constantly trying to get me to watch it to the point he's offering me money to watch it.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
have
know
you
when
not
somebody-
he could make
No.
like 30 quid
I could
right
make
now.
I could make
if you want
money just like from an idle evening. you know,
Yeah,
just
Yes,
living
but
my
he's
life.
refusing to watch
I
it.
won't. But you know when somebody wants you to do something
principle.
so bad that it's a hill that you just need to die on.
Yes,
Like, I
yes,
think
yes.
everybody needs something in their life that they are willing to just
They will
To
just
die for, and
They will
Devon's
just
just
be-
not watching The Dark Knight.
You know, exactly. There's deep hills that you're gonna die
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
And there's
yeah.
like,
Everyone
no,
needs one.
if there's
I'm
one
not
thing I
watching this
stand
film.
for, it is Christopher Nolan,
Yeah.
Dark
Yeah.
Knight. Get
Honestly-
away
So
from it.
long as it makes no sense to you as well, then
yeah,
that's
yeah,
good.
that's
Like,
it. That's when you know you've got something.
That's when you
It's so funny.
'Cause I'm
Christopher
I'm
Nolan,
it'd be
honestly.
great. I'm sure it'd be great. I'm sure that Christopher Nolan is actually
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
and he's
Well,
a-
Batman is like, because that was his more mainstream film and it was more mass market. I
Yeah.
feel like that was his, in a sense, his. I don't know. I love Memento, but in a sense, that was probably his best film.
Pared
But
himself back a little bit.
yeah, I think so. And I honestly, I felt like I watched Oppenheimer with Vlada, and I honestly felt like it was just a bit pretentious. Like it's so just film wanky. Like everyone who's doing film studies will go, "Oh yeah, it was so good." But you watch it. If
That's
you
my issue with. I was saying this the other day. Actually, that's my issue with films that film nerds recommend. They
Yeah.
always need to have some kind of edge or
Yeah.
something
Some deep.
different or weird. Why can't you just have a really good, strong story with good character building and
That-
a message? Like,
Yeah.
why do you need?
It's
to,
why
like,
they downrate comedies a lot. They just
Yeah.
because they like, oh, they're not deep
because
enough.
it's not. Yeah, it's not filmy.
Well,
enough,
shit.
is it?
One film I really liked recently was the new Top Gun.
Oh yeah, I love
Because
that.
it
So
was-
simple.
It was literally.
Yeah, I understood what was going on.
I never felt lost.
Yeah, yeah.
It appealed
That's
to
the
my
bar.
simple. Yeah. No, but honestly, like
Tom Cruise flies planes.
It's
Easy.
But literally, it was just a classic story. There was no agenda. There was no it was literally just. It was a movie
Yeah.
where there were epic moments. There was the whole training arc and can
Yeah.
he do it? And you kind of know he's going to do it.
It was
in the
just
end,
a
but
nice, easy
It's just
film.
as
But it's the
satisfying.
journey
Yeah.
to get there, you know.
Yeah.
To be fair, there are like the best film. See what your guys is, but the best film I've watched in the last year was Midsummer, which is a horror.
you tell me
film.
about that.
Oh, that was the
Actually-
person who did. Oh God, what's the other film that they did? Because
Oh,
Midsommar
there
was the
is
second
another
one.
isn't there? Yeah,
Hereditary
That's it. Yeah,
That
I've not seen that.
was creepy.
Was it? Midsummer was creepy.
Yeah.
But like, it's got that weird film thing in it where
Yes.
the whole thing with Midsummer, without ruining the story, is
Yeah.
that it is cinematically beautiful.
Yeah.
Like colourful.
It's a horror movie in the day.
amazing. Yeah, in the daytime, there's lots of colours and flowers and just
That's
like
cool.
nice things going
Yeah,
on. But
it's
what's
weird.
actually happening on screen is deeply disturbing and
Yes.
weird.
Yes.
So it's sort
Yeah.
of.
I know.
leaves you
Don't get me
feeling a
wrong.
bit
Like
funny.
I'll explain my critique on Oppenheimer in a second. But like, don't get me wrong. I love arty films, and I would
Yeah.
say I'm one of those film wanky people. But I've gone sort of through the looking glass where now I'm like, actually, sometimes it's too much.
You're
and
past the
Yes.
index.
yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah,
like,
I've gone back.
it's like in back in English GCSE and things like that, where it'd be like, oh well, the blue curtain signifies a deep
Yeah.
depressive,
I-
and it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
no,
Yeah, all
no,
that
you
shit.
get
Too
The
deep in the
curtain,
lore.
the curtain was
Futon.
the futon, the futon. No, the curtain was blue.
Yeah.
Because it was blue,
Yeah,
and that is
yeah.
it. Don't
just
read
one
And
of
it's
the
like
colours, you
that.
had to
I
pick
think
one.
there's a
What is the
moment
word
of
for that?
maturity. There's a moment of maturity when you accept
What's that?
that simplicity is sometimes a really good thing. Like
Correct.
like we were talking about last time,
Top
like
Gun.
cheesy music, Top Gun. Sometimes just simple, enjoyable is amazing. And it doesn't always have to be so deep.
You can take it too far. I think that's
Yeah,
the thing. And
that was
Christopher
Oppenheimer.
Nolan. Yeah, he will. I haven't seen many of his films, but from what I've heard, chop it up and move it.
It's just
for the
outrageous.
sake of it.
Yeah, and I hate sitting there. This was the thing with Oppenheimer. I sat there for a good. So the first hour was enjoyable because it's visually quite interesting. It's moody and it's got this cool
Yeah.
vibe to it. But then, like the middle hour, it just starts getting so weird. The timeline's all fucked up, and he keeps referring. Like what he does, if you don't catch the character's name in the beginning and remember who that is, they will then abuse you with that by referring to that person 100 times. You're like, who the fuck are we talking
I'm
about?
so bad at that. That is
Yeah.
me. I will never catch a name. I'm always.
Nah, yeah, I'm always. It's Tom Cruise.
I don't want to
He's
be
flying a
I'm
plane.
too proud a person as well.
Dask.
I don't want to be
Yeah,
that.
no, I'm not.
So what's going on here?
Yeah, I do that all
So
the time.
like, fuck that, I'm not-
I'll pause the film and Google
Well,
what's
the
happening
one-
with the vlog.
the one.
Yeah, I need
the-
to go to the toilet. Oh,
the
no.
one- yeah, exactly. Yeah, quick Google.
Yeah, yeah.
Sneaky
Don't let anyone
Google.
know.
shameful Google in the
Yeah.
toilet.
And then you start oversaying, "Oh yeah, James over there."
Yeah. What is the hidden gem?
Just to let everyone else know that you do remember the name.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
Oh, classic James.
Yeah, exactly. Classic James. And everyone's thinking like, no, like obviously. But no, the movie that really confused me, kind of on that topic. Have you seen Drive with Ryan
You
Gosling?
thought I love Drive.
Yeah.
Drive's-
But he literally doesn't have a name. So the whole movie, I was trying to think like, what is this guy's name? Why is no one
Ryan Gosling.
And then in the credits, yeah, exactly.
That's how I'd remember any actor. It's just in the film, I'll just say the actor's name.
In the credits, it just says Driver, Ryan Gosling,
Right.
and it's
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
and the sense of relief I felt at the end of that
I'm
film.
not stupid.
Yeah, because I was.
Intellectually challenged.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was
The whole
thinking,
movie.
have I just
Yeah.
missed something here? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, back on that Christopher Nolan thing, it was just like, to me,
Oppenheimer.
it just felt, Oppenheimer just felt like it was just too convoluted.
pretentious.
It almost felt like a parody of a Christopher Nolan film. It was,
Okay.
like, it was so.
Is it that bad? That's because
Yeah,
I really want to watch it.
I would say
really
watch
want to
it. It's
go see
enjoyable. Me and
Yeah.
Vlad enjoyed it, but it was like
Yeah.
you'll probably spend an hour in the middle. Like this could be all cut.
He just
Get rid of
leant
this.
so far
Yeah.
into
and then
himself,
it's
and you're just
always
like,
this thing where the last hour you go, oh, okay, that's what was fucking going on.
Do you know what's funny
It's like,
about
that's
that?
not
though?
interesting.
Like, I sitting here and you say that, I completely agree. But one of my favorite films, which I feel like is a lot of people's favorite films, is
I thought you'd say Fight Club.
I was gonna
Fight
say,
Club.
I was going to say Fight Club. It's
Yeah.
not. It's Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Which does that. You don't like Fight. Yeah, what the
Shall I
fuck?
tell you why?
Me.
Right.
I was going to say, hold on, finish that.
Yeah,
thought.
yeah,
Pulp
yeah, yeah.
Fiction does that same thing where you'll be like, when me and Amanda watch it, she will. Pisses me off beyond it. She'll
Take
fall
notes.
asleep.
She has a bit of paper about it.
No, she will fall asleep at the exact moment every time, and that's when Bruce Willis comes in, and it's the boxing, and it's a whole different storyline about an hour into the film.
Yeah.
And it's because he's doing that same thing.
Film wankiness.
Film wankiness.
But I
finally,
like
it
the one
works.
film wankiness I did like was who's the director? Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
He did One Night in Hollywood, I think, or something like that. And
yeah.
everyone
Once upon
hated
a
it.
I didn't
time,
like
once-
that.
once upon a
Everyone
time.
hated it, but I loved it
I
because it was
thought it was
so boring for about 2 hours, and then the ending was crazy. And I loved that. I sometimes love film wankiness, but lost me a Christopher
Like
Nolan.
it was, yeah. Well, right, Fight
Are we
Club.
doing Fight Club? Yeah, because that's not something we can just leave at the door.
Okay, can I just say so before you get into Fight Club? I'm going to
Go
say
for it.
I have such bad memory. Like when it comes to film, I would say a film is my favorite film ever. Fight Club being one of them. And if
Yeah.
you ask me to recall pretty much any of it, I will not be able to tell you a single thing. So this
pure
conversation,
emotion.
I'm going to be trying to fucking swim. I'm just trying to float.
Keep your head above the water,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, Fight Club.
Yeah.
Great story, kind of the whole twist. I don't want to ruin it for anyone
Boy,
who
you
hasn't seen
you
it.
said there's a twist.
They were all
Yeah, so there's
sleeping
all-
all along. There was
yeah,
just
yeah,
one
exactly.
big dream.
And then I woke up, yeah. So it's like, so Fight Club, right. I'm going to have to ruin it because it's a key.
Can't- well,
It came out in the 90s. if you
Exactly
ain't watched
right,
it.
right. So if you haven't watched Fight Club,
One of
pause
the
it.
defining films
Yes,
of our
yeah, exactly.
lifetime.
Pause it, come back in, I don't know, the 90 minutes or whatever the runtime is. Right. You ready? Okay. So, you know the scene where it all kicks off and he...
No.
he
Don't talk to him.
okay, Devon, right. We'll loop Kieran back in a sec. So,
I'll get on my phone. I'll be googling it.
Exactly. Car park scene.
Yeah.
So you know the scene where it's the very first fight where he's fighting Brad Pitt in the car park, and
Yeah.
then the strangers go, "Oh, can I get in the next fight?" And that's how it all starts. There is no way in real life, if you saw a guy punching the air, fighting himself, you would come up and be like, "Oh yeah, you're right there. Yeah, can I
But
get
then
in the
are
next
they
fight?"
not all like him? Is that not the point?
No, because they
are not, 'cause
the
if
people
he's
who
going
join the
crazy-
cult. No, the people who join the cult want to fight each other. That's the whole point of Fight Club. Whereas if I saw
That's
a
a
dude,
fair point,
if
yeah.
I saw a dude swinging in the air in
Yeah.
a car park, punching himself in the
I'm
face,
getting out of this.
I
that
wouldn't be
scene.
like, "Oh yeah, that's like valiant and brave. Yeah, I want to get in the next fight." I'll be like, "You
I'm
are
getting
a
on
nutso."
rightmove.com.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
looking for
yeah,
him.
Zoopla.
Yeah,
you know
I'm
that.
out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
sure.
So that is
that's a
such a.
Do you know, I can't argue against that. I think that makes sense.
It's
annoying when somebody
Can
pokes
I-
a hole in one of your favourite
Yeah,
movies.
yeah, that's a fair plot. Can I make? Can I make a good bridge
No, I'm
here?
done
into
with the
a
podcast. I'm off.
Yeah, fuck it.
See you later.
I can make a good bridge here because
on.
I've heard you have an opinion on this, and I'm
Oh.
really curious about all of our opinions on this.
You know, it's not often that people hear I have an opinion.
Oh,
on something.
I hear about them all the time. And so this one is that you apparently, and maybe maybe this
Where
is
did you hear
misinformation,
this?
Ryan. But me and Ryan were talking about it, and we both agreed that sex scenes in films are wholly useless. To play the sex scene out, you can Get into the bed, cut to black, fade to black, whatever.
Okay.
But why do you have to get that graphic part, especially when you're with your parents watching it?
Okay.
I was just about to bring that up.
I was thinking you might get to the parents. That's weird because that is a conversation Ryan and I have had, but it must have been about 4 years ago.
No, we had a
So that's clearly stuck with him.
Yeah, he was like, no, they're fucking suck. But I agreed with him. I felt like they're totally unnecessary. I don't know why you need to
the whole
see it.
point, right? I'm gonna get film wanker here. The whole point of a film or any piece of art is
what it represents.
the way it makes you feel.
Even your tone of voice before you started doing a parody
was on a posture that. So are you going to put a scarf on?
Yeah, I saw the pinky finger.
I wouldn't wear a scarf. I'm a snood boy.
I'm a snood. And my man Uggs.
Mugs.
It's not a purse, it's a satchel.
So get your notebook out. Take some notes.
Go on.
So, it's like supposed to make you feel something, isn't it? It's supposed to
uncomfortable.
but that's kind of it. It's you're feeling a little bit like it forces you through something, and then that sticks with you, and you're thinking about the relationship and the weirdness of it all, and that's sort of it's a human emotion.
Honestly, I get that. I get what you mean, but to me, it's like it's always just uncomfortable, and it's
and
you're saying, but
I don't think you're supposed to.
But you're saying that's
as,
like kind of
it. Yeah, like you're watching it because it's like human emotion is the point here. You're trying to get across something, and by showing a strong emotion on screen,
I feel like this is the exact thing. The director who's trying to get his favorite actress to do a sex scene is say, "Look, it's to make them feel something."
I just get nothing from it.
Like, for the record, there are issues around some actresses being made to take tops off and go past levels of comfort, etc. That's fair enough. But I think the same way you will see like stabbings on screen to make you feel a little wincy, you'll see a sex scene on screen to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable or apprehensive or whatever it might be.
But that's where, like, so for instance, if you see a scene where someone gets beaten up, you're like, oh, wince. Your reaction is that of the actor that it's happening to. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you see a sex scene, you don't go like, ooh, you just go, ugh.
But you see a sex scene to show a build in a relationship of some way. Right?
Yeah, but I think you can show that.
Objectively, could it not be done by just fade to black?
Yes.
They're unsaid. Okay,
you know what's happening.
So if you, in the same way you'd write a YouTube script, you're trying to get a peak of emotion and down. And,
got it.
And
crescendo. See that, obviously,
The judge of how good a film is when you look back on it, how do you feel? Like, how did it make you feel?
But
any piece of art.
But
it's a crescendo of emotion. It's a high emotion point.
And if you will feel that. If you can make someone feel something, whatever context it's in, whether that makes you uncomfortable, whether that makes you excited, whether that makes you whatever it might be, apprehensive, you felt something, and therefore the director's done something.
I think it's a cheap win. I agree.
It might be cheap,
the director,
but it works.
Well, clearly it is a winning strategy because it's in a lot of movies. Right. But I just think like,
Ryan made a funny
good point. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah. Ryan made quite a funny point when he was saying about it. It's like when you in a film when someone's having dinner. Say it's like he's going about his morning. They don't show him eating the bowl of breakfast, just sitting there eating it. You kind of just
Sometimes they do to get across the mundanity of life.
Damn, you are a real film wanker.
The problem is I could argue anything for anything.
Yeah. That's one of the best skills to have. Just be able to take any side.
It's debate skills, isn't it?
A bowl of cereal in a grey room to really signify the dreariness of day-to-day life.
And do you know why they chose grey on that bowl?
All right, exactly. I've got a debate then. If we'll go down debate route.
Get my debate snood on.
Yeah. Is it a different snood?
Yeah, obviously. This one's wool.
It's purple for controversy.
That's how you tell what Devon's feeling. He walks in. If it's a red one, stay away from Devon.
Exactly.
If it's orange, get mugged. Yeah, he's on yellow today.
That's it.
So I was thinking, I think we touched on this before. I can't remember, but I feel like we talk about it off podcast. But basically, what do you think of public shaming as a form of punishment?
Oh no!
Let me just give you the landscape.
It's a bit Games of Thronesy.
It's a little bit.
Let me give you the
500 years ago, but carry on.
Let me give you my thought process. So, and this isn't what I'm saying. This is what I believe. I'm just curious to see if this is a justifiable position. So, public shaming. If you take, say, like someone's done a crime. I don't know. You've joined a gang and you've stabbed someone or sold drugs or something. When you get punished, you're being sent to jail. Which in those cultures of gang related worlds, that is actually most often seen as a badge of honor. To go to jail, come back from jail, it's like, oh, sick, you went to jail. You're not made to feel shameful for your act within the people that matter. The authorities don't matter to you.
Yes,
whereas if
it's your peers.
Imagine you stab someone, and yeah, obviously you still go to jail. But imagine before that, You are forced to walk through the street like Game of Thrones in your underwear. Everyone's throwing fucking tomatoes at you. All of your friends are seeing you being humiliated in front of everyone. Would that deter someone more likely from doing a crime?
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I get... Again, I don't know too much about the legal system, but like...
Well, we don't allow this.
Yeah, no, well, yeah.
This is theoretical.
Let's go on a whim, all right? We don't public shame. And we are purely navigating.
Yeah.
No, more what I was going to say was, in terms of like the shameful element, that's when... Surely in court, like you have a family, like talking to the person and things like that. But you're saying if it's coming from the victim's family, they won't care because it's not their peers. Whereas if in court, all your friends had to watch it and you're just there.
And you're being absolutely embarrassed. Like, 'cause that's the thing. A lot of people will do a lot to avoid embarrassment.
It's not guilt. It's embarrassment that they're trying to
People
avoid.
go run a country mile to avoid being embarrassed. But but if what you're actually doing is being punished and that is a cool thing because you're going to jail, which is almost a reward in terms of status in certain cultures, that to me, you're actually not achieving the act of where putting someone off doing it.
I see what you're saying. It's like, but is the solution after the crime has been committed, or is it like? Do you see what I'm saying? It seems like that's more of a symptom.
I know where you're going to go. But you're saying like, okay, why are they doing crimes?
That's beside the point.
So purely from the point where, you can obviously...
A crime has happened. Yeah. It hasn't been prevented. This is the...
because just to explain, because I think we got what we were saying, but what you're kind of saying is that there's obviously systemic roots that lead people to crime, which is doing this going to stop that? Probably not. So let's just throw that to one side. I get what you're saying. I do agree with that fundamentally.
Yeah.
It's a tough issue, that. I mean, how do you embarrass somebody? What's like, are we talking stocks? Are we...
I would say what I said, like the Game of Thrones, walking through naked through a town.
What is the most embarrassing thing you can do?
But that's what I mean. Like, how far do you take it? Because there's some...
Sorry, that is it. Yeah. I wouldn't enjoy that.
We did do 20 minutes on shit if you want to go to the previous episode.
So we've covered that.
I'd forgotten about that story.
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't.
Yeah. Eye of the devil.
Yeah. God damn. Anyway, moving on quickly. So
we'll get there.
Quickly. We will finish a point.
So that, I mean, that is it's a human rights thing, right? So if you're going to strip someone down naked and properly shame them and get them walking through town with a shame bell, then it turns out they're innocent.
But you could say that about going to jail.
You could, but what's worse? I mean,
one traumatic experience.
One thing they can come back to from being in prison to society and be accepted, and it's just a wrong that the government needs to compensate them for. The other thing, they're never going to be looked at the same.
It's what you constitute rehabilitation. Do you know what I mean? Because you can argue jail probably does.
That's a very good point.
Do you know
because
what I mean?
a lot of jails in Europe and in the UK.
Well, in the US, it's commercialised.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So Europe is more focused, and the UK, we're not quite there, but it's more focused on rehabilitation, whereas America is more focused on
such a hard moral thing, because our morals are so deeply based in punishment, and our understand of if someone does something wrong,
very new, isn't it?
It's eye for an eye kind of thing. But we've always talked about this where we kind of disagree, but like, the kind of is it like Scandinavian sort of idea?
I prefer Scandis,
but the sandy Scandis, and they tend to be more about like pump tons of money, and like we look at the way they treat criminals. It's like that's pathetic.
They have like open jails.
Yeah, it's great.
Like
Jail sounds fun.
Yes.
But the idea is that their reoffending rate is far lower, and ours is actually pretty bad.
Well, it's open jails for people who are about to be released.
Well, I guess is jail to keep these people away from the population or turn them into better people? And it seems like
that's exactly.
But it's punishment versus rehabilitation. Which I still don't know where I fall with it,
can you punish and also rehabilitate? Because it seems models either choose one or the other. Do you know what I mean?
I think so. I think the taking away of freedom is the punishment, but it should be with the lens of rehabilitation.
Yes.
But the bit where I would maybe sort of err to the other side is if you've given somebody that chance and they've then reoffended, how many times can you try to rehabilitate someone? Before it just becomes, okay, we need to separate this person from society.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very different case.
On a right here.
Exactly. Too right. Yes, solving world issue. But it's like obviously you're going to be more lenient on a first offending basis. Yeah. However, the argument could then be made that, oh, well, if they reoffend, it's not down to them, it's down to the same environment that led to them offending the first time.
Yeah, but they've still done it, I think, is the issue.
I'm inclined to agree. However, that I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, I completely agree. I think you're making very good points. But I would say it's
personal responsibility at some point.
Yeah, at some point, but always try and rehabilitate because society owes something to people in that society.
Yes.
Is what I would say.
But it feels wrong. It feels wrong to offer people resources to better their life and perhaps come out really great when they've done something that maybe was kill someone or something even worse.
Well, but then it's a spectrum, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like maybe you would weight more effort towards people who are maybe easier to redeem. But then again, surely the argument would go, well, the people who offend worse, they had worse environment.
Yeah,
Do you know
I think this is it. Like, you've got to make a judgment for has society led to this person doing things wrong?
Whose responsibility is it?
Whose responsibility
is it? Individuals or society?
So hard,
it's definitely somewhere of both.
Somewhere of both.
It's
always err towards give them a chance, give them the benefit of the doubt, always. And then once it gets to a point, say, okay, now we've just got to separate them from society.
Correct.
I think that's kind of it. When it comes to shaming people, I'm just not sure it really plays a role because where does shaming come into rehabilitation?
Yeah.
And once you've gone past the point of we can't rehabilitate them, why is it then okay to shame?
You could also argue that like once you've been shamed, it might put some people off doing crimes in the first side, but off the back end, if anything, probably they're more likely to reoffend because now they
the system.
They've got a complex. Yeah.
I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
It's
interesting. I've been thinking about it, just like I don't know what put that thought in my head. It might have been like a Game of Thrones scene. I was just curious, like, was it effective? Because I think I heard something about like people will avoid embarrassment far more than like punishment or something like that. And it's like it is true. Like how often do people's lives are defined by avoiding embarrassment? The amount of people that want to do a thing in life. Like I know I have a friend who wants to make videos, and some of his work lot found some of his videos, and he deleted everything. And it's like and it's like how many people are defined by fear of being embarrassed by people?
But almost all people.
Yeah,
Almost like think about.
This is why you got to put a snood on. It's
snood up. Yeah, once that snood's on,
snood up is free.
You can't care about what people. You're the person judging.
Wear the Teletubby onesie in public. Exactly. Wear the Teletubby onesie in public. Go to Asda in your slippers, and you are.
Nice. I've got a bridge. Because that threw me right.
Okay.
Asda in slippers. Tell me things that you really hate about British culture.
Well, I was about to ask, have you ever done a shop in your dressing gown or your slippers or something?
I have never done it.
Because I've done it. And you know what?
You've done that?
It's free.
I love that.
I levitated into the store.
Lived.
That's like, there is freedom in that, but like, I don't know if I want that freedom. It's like that's crackhead freedom. They're free. They're the freest people on earth.
That's a part of society. Do you hate that? Do you embrace it? Do you live with
mean, crackheads are fundamentally, other than their...
I swear we've talked about these people before.
Crackheads...
Just to be... I'm not a crackhead.
Well, it's sort of dancing on those doors.
It was like,
there's no equivalent.
It was first year of uni, and I think I was hungover.
Yeah. Well, crackheads are arguably, other than their complete dependency on a drug, the freest people on earth. They are, though. Yeah. They don't give a single fuck about anything.
I think,
but that's probably because of the crack. So I'm not sure it's a good thing.
I think there's several routes to freedom, and I think some are better than others.
But crack's quick. You get there very quick.
There's in weighing up your routes to freedom, efficiency is definitely a factor to be considered. However,
imagine someone sitting there thinking, right, long business plan, could make an empire, and then he's got a pile of crack here, and he's like, well, what do I do? Which one?
Like could ruin my life, but I'll get there quickly.
For sure.
I haven't gone into Asda or any other supermarket in my
try it tomorrow.
In my dressing mat.
Yeah, give it a go tomorrow.
What's that?
Try it.
You're gonna go tomorrow?
I'll do it.
Well, so what I would invite you to try is, this is
a formal invitation.
What I would invite you to try, here's my red wax stamped letter. No, what I think is another kind of would I do that? Is in the gym, and kind of I'll give a bit of context to this. Firstly, and I think this might be a segue after I make this point. Firstly, I think gym culture in the UK is I don't really like it. I think a lot of people, especially with the invention of headphones, it's all kind of macho, look forward. It's all all about being
Solitude
seen,
as well,
but never about making eye contact. It's this weird dichotomy.
There's not like there.
It's
this
weird,
is the
isn't
thing.
it?
Some,
well, let me just
some
jump
gyms
in.
have it, but some don't.
Correct, and you kind of build a community. But have you tried this? Put some headphones in the gym. I know I'm having double standards here, but then dance.
Oh, there's a guy in my gym who is fucking nuts, and I love him because he comes in and he's
just
like,
vibing.
I do a little, I have a little bit, but he's literally singing at the top of his voice, punching, and he's dancing. And I'm like, fair fucking play.
Yeah, I respect that.
Can I tell you what I think it is that he's doing? Is because he's practicing boxing, right? And I can tell he's good. I think, and this is, I really was going to ask him, but I don't know why I did. I think he left the gym or whatever. But he was boxing and
to the beat.
No, I think what it was like, imagine the nerves you feel going into a boxing ring. I think it's almost like a get over yourself embarrassment type thing.
That would be some 4D chess of training.
Mate, they think like that.
He's just leaning into it.
I tell you what, though, he's probably the sort of person to wear a dressing gown to an Asda.
Like the boxing dressing gown. And boxers.
Yeah, that is fantastic. No, but on gym culture, because I find that like whenever it's this weird thing where loads of people do it, I think it's great. Like I think it's great that people go to the gym, work on their body, get fit, etc., etc. But it is weird, especially I think you see it more in younger people. There's kind of this pseudo alpha behavior where kind of
you have to grow out of that.
I think it's a phase fellas go through, but it's interesting. I've referred to this a couple of times, but it's like when you start doing like martial arts and things like that, you're there's no need, and it's weird when you have gymmed and then start a martial art and you realize like pretty much none of it is transferable. Like at the gym, you're always being tense. When you're trying to move, you got to flow, or you'll gas
out. It's a sport, isn't it? And people don't see it that way. I think what it is when you're in a gym, people become like hyper aware of how they look. So if you're hyper aware of how you look, you're thinking about your posture, you're thinking about how other people look.
It's all this kind
of thing.
Yeah, it's all this kind of I'm really confident and yet I'm not, because when you smile at these people, they'll look away. And there
is quite a bit
of that. It's fake as well, because no one's like standing like this.
It's very sterile. It's very kind of
very
artificial.
much I like when you find those people that are more sociable in the gym. I always try. Like there's a kind of group of people I will chat to, but then there are people I'll just obviously not.
I have real on and off days. Like
what, just being social?
Just being social.
I'm
at the gym as well, because the thing about the gym is I probably don't want to be there. So,
You're
so I'm already in a bad mood.
You're just eyes down like, get me out of here.
It's not that I want to be seen or anything. It's that I don't want to fucking be there. So you start talking to me. It's not you, mate. It's that I would rather be in a Ben Jerry's.
Can I?
See, you sound like a girl breaking up. It's not you. It's me.
Not you. It's me.
So with that, when it comes to like British things and things we dislike about British people, I dislike that when it comes to like sociability, British people are so deeply dependent on alcohol to have conversations.
Yes.
Especially deep conversations with people they love.
Yes.
Like I found it with my parents.
Being emotionally open.
Yeah, but then it's a tool. It can be a tool, because I've noticed with my parents I can be very open now, and when I was younger I couldn't. And it was, I think, because we had like 2 or 3 evenings just drinking, and then we discussed things that were maybe a bit closer.
They do that at work. Like quite often the whole drinks parties are because of that, especially with new people, just to sort of let people open up. It's like a hangover from the nice little pun there for you. A hangover from Victorian times. Stiff.
Wow, that's the quality of content you get out here.
Stiff upper lip. That has to be a trailer.
Just like today on the Archers podcast, jokes, puns, mystery,
mystery and history,
film wankery.
Go on, Victorian hangovers.
That was kind of it. Yeah,
I didn't hear the point because I got so excited.
So there was like strict societal social codes in the Victorian times, weren't there? Like you were British. You had to act and behave a certain way. You had that stiff upper lip where you couldn't talk about your feelings. You couldn't do things that were out of your social class. You know, there was a real hierarchy, and we have, as society's modernized and cultures have homogenized and other words that
Robopopized. I thought that'd be a first.
Photosynthesized.
Plants photosynthesized.
What is it?
We found this new energy.
Sometimes to sound smarter, I use words that I don't fully photosynthesize.
Yeah. Me too, man. But yeah, that's it. I think that's it. And now we all are different, more open, but we still hold on to that that side of us that we don't.
you think-
quite
I think
You
there's
said
utility in that though.
You think
Yeah, I
that
think
you
so.
think that stemmed from the Victorian era? Is that
I
what
think
you
it
said?
peaked at the Victorian
What
era.
do you know why or like what could be?
No, I can't.
Yeah, because I can't think. How did
It's-
that come? Why did that become such a British thing? That whole idea of like reserving.
I think it might. You know, I think, and I'm not a historian.
Nah, make it up, bro.
I will make it up fully. Yeah.
Devin is a historian. Believe everything that he said.
Can you cut out the bit where I said I wasn't a historian?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
I'll take wasn't out. Yeah, I'm a historian.
Or I wasn't a historian.
Yeah.
That's
Copy
good.
paste.
Use it twice. Yeah, use it twice. So basically, in my year studying history,
I love how casual that.
In my many years pondering
I'm invested.
yeah. Just looking up H in the encyclopedia history. So classes, right? We became
Yeah.
a very rich nation for reasons we won't get into, but we like a middle class developed here before anywhere else. So because of a middle class developing, the people that were getting money because they were shopkeepers or manufacturers of things or whatever it might have been that got them into this new class, where they weren't quite aristocracy rich, but they had more money than the people that were just struggling to work in factories.
Were they peasants at that stage?
No, I wouldn't have
or
been.
just workers?
They would have been the middle class above the working class.
as in. So it was the working class at that stage.
So working class came before, and then as we started to earn money, as the empire built, the middle class developed.
but
Because
the people
suddenly
under them were still working.
they were working class. They would
Got
work for the shopkeepers, the
Yeah.
middle class, or for the butchers, the
Yeah,
middle
yeah.
class, whatever. Skilled jobs. But those people needed a way to differentiate themselves from the working class. So they needed to dress slightly differently in a way that wasn't aristocracy, but was obviously different to the working
So
class.
interesting.
They needed different words. They needed different
It's a
places to
culture,
hang out.
fundamentally.
It was like the first subculture, if you will. I mean, there were
Yes.
subcultures, but the first like proper pillar of culture. This whole new class that developed in the space of a generation, really.
Wow.
So I think that's probably it. I think it was just to be middle class, you had to act a certain way.
Yes.
And then over the next 2 or 3 generations, we've kind of homogenized and photosynthesized and all those things.
Exactly. Yeah,
But-
chlorophylled.
But that we still hold on to a bit of that
Yeah.
just through
It's-
getting through our grandparents, and therefore we drink to break it down in ways that other countries don't.
It's interesting because
God, that was some
Yeah,
sick
was
shit, bro.
just a little ripple for
Yeah,
that. That was
fucking do it.
fair enough.
I will be charging
Quality
next time.
Exactly,
Catch us on Nebula for the full
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Yeah, you can subscribe now for $12.99 a month. Terms and conditions apply. No, it's interesting because obviously you can be too rigid, and that stops you. Kind of like it quenches personality. It mutes personality is probably a better word. But it's interesting because in a corporate environment, there are a lot of bonuses to being like that. It's strange because
it's professionalism, isn't it?
well, and that's the thing, and that's a balance. Like as my career develops, you're probably a little bit further along. That where it's weird because you have a kind of personality that you have with your friends. You know, you're more jovial, it's more casual. But at work, it's especially when you're an empathetic person, which I definitely am. You're always trying to connect with people, but also you've got to manage the distance. And it's this weird knack that you've got to,
intentional like withholding of yourself.
Correct.
which I've
Yes.
never had to do that.
think
But
it's-
I
Yes.
understand that that's a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the other thing with the workplace is that you're forced to be around people that you probably wouldn't normally hang around with. Otherwise,
Correct.
you will
Yeah,
make friends, and there'll be
Yes.
people that you're more yourself with than other people. But you need to maintain a level of professionalism and withhold certain aspects of yourself just so that you can work with each other. Because there are going to
Yes.
be people that you just have nothing in common with.
But there,
Yes.
there are certain industries where it'd be the total opposite is better. Like in definitely, I don't know, I'd say in like what I do, being reserved of your personality is a bad, like really bad
Yes.
thing.
I'd
because-
say a degree with mine as well. I mean, you've got to.
yeah, I was
like-
going to say more creative fields. would
Yeah,
probably-
more creative
yeah.
fields. So
But it's got to be in the scope of professionalism.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can't let loose, and that's it's an interesting kind of social.
unless
Go on.
you're at the work drinks, which brings us back to the start of that topic. You know, you do
Yeah,
them
then that's when
occasionally.
you start being yourself.
I feel like I'm in a Christopher Nolan film.
Yeah, damn, we're smashing it today. The callbacks.
This is probably quite obvious, but you know, Tenet like is the same spelled backwards. That's one of the
Where
reasons
did
he
that
did it.
come from?
Yeah. Oh, it's the name of a crystal now. I didn't know that. But,
No. But what I'm saying is like obviously because the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
What's
smart.
what is that? What is those words called? It's like race car.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
No, I
I'm not going to spend 3 minutes and an R, but we would have found it.
It
If
is.
it was a normal conversation.
Let us know in the comments
Yeah.
because honestly, I
you.
don't really
it
care that
anagram?
much.
No.
But
It's not anagram or initialism.
Oh yeah, we learned about
Neither of those. Yeah, we
on our last lesson with Devon.
what's that?
We learned about initialism.
Go on then, wheel the whiteboard.
Yeah,
in.
yeah, let's get it in. Let's get it in.
Have you seen it? Like, what have you seen on those? There's those professors, like I don't know, at Harvard or something, where they still use chalkboards because they're a little bit pretentious. But have you seen the?
What colour snood are they wearing?
Oh, it's like multicolored. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
they're going full
Quite
full
liberal,
send.
don't
Yeah. So, but have you seen them? They use the chalk and they go, "Rrrr," and they can create dotted lines of like different
I have seen that.
frequencies. And it
That's
is.
weirdly satisfying to watch. I
it's
kind of
good.
wish I could do it.
Have you seen the circle competitions like teachers do as well?
Have you seen the game you can play on your phone?
Oh, what,
yes,
Fortnite?
I did it.
No.
No, we did that in the group chat, didn't
Yeah, where you
I
can
got- I- I'm
draw.
not gonna-
All right,
I got-
let's get the high scores out.
I've not heard about
The
this.
score was high. The circle was circular.
Bam!
I think I got
Christopher
second.
Nolan
Yeah.
would have been a very proud man.
Go play this if you get
I
a chance.
haven't
It's,
even
it's so fun. You literally you just draw. It's so fun.
Draw a
You draw
circle.
a circle. That's the game.
The more circular the circle is, the more
The
points you
higher your
get.
score.
And you know, keep it simple, stupid. Sometimes
Yeah.
those. What are the other examples of really simple things that have just absolutely like are either
Okay, this could
Go on.
work together here.
Go on.
So, if you were to go back 50 years and you could show someone 3 things that are from right now, what would you show them to fucking blow their mind?
well, obviously a phone.
Yeah.
That would just like I
They
think.
wouldn't connect to anything.
Yeah, that'd be.
Oh.
That'd be
Oh,
cool.
what are we
Okay,
talking-
nah,
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
So,
That's a ridiculous
Wi-Fi,
framework.
You wouldn't find a
power
charging
grid.
point.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
phone's dead, and that still would blow their
50
mind.
years
Though.
ago.
Shiny brick.
That piece of shiny brick would still blow their mind.
It'd have to be something like a mobile phone, like just the ability to access things.
Like truly,
When was
It'll
it?
be
When was
technology short.
50 years ago, they did have started having
What we're
computers.
talking about?
Tesla,
Sorry, 50
probably.
years ago, 1970s.
Yeah, so they had computers.
They
so
had.
They didn't
so
have the
would
internet,
that,
though.
seeing the
They
phone,
didn't have the internet. The
would a
internet
phone
was,
truly?
Didn't have the
No,
internet.
internet was, yeah.
No, yeah. They had
Like the
the
concept of
intranet.
Google and the concept like that would have just been Tesla self-driving cars.
Chat
I think would.
GPT.
ChatGPT.
Do you reckon that's kind of? I'd say that's kind of within the realm
I
of
think
internet.
they could see a self-driving car coming. Think in the
Yes.
70s, people
Oh, they
were
thought it was like
They don't need
levitating.
to. The
Yeah.
self-driving car sees them.
So they had their visions of the future were like levitating
Yes.
hoverboards.
Yeah,
and like,
yeah.
they thought things were gonna go crazy.
They never did see the phone.
They never.
coming, did they? Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I remember people saying that about sci-fis. They never saw like the internet coming.
Mm.
Did they, or was it like? It
No,
was
they
no.
were
It was
s-
the phone. They saw like an interconnectedness, but I
think-
don't think they saw like a device. They thought it was going to be like I don't know.
Well,
I can't remember.
it kind of skipped. It kind of skipped that part out, I think, because they kind of went right. Well, we have cars, right? It's going to be interplanetary. It's going to be levitating stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like Futurama
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing. But in terms of the intricacies of technology, I don't think they saw that.
But
coming.
we're saying so things they could have never envisioned. So like that, I think if you showed them a phone and the person was saying, okay, this is someone from the future, and you showed them the phone, are they going to be so profoundly earth shattered, or is
Yes.
it? You think so? But
Without
they're not
a
even going to
doubt.
be like, yeah, we could kind of seen where technology was.
They
heading
just
with that.
won't even be able to like.
I think so. Social media.
Well,
I
no,
mean,
but even like just
yeah,
having-
I could see that.
having
No,
a
if you said your whole social circle and the
would
fundamental
all be
change,
digitalized, yeah.
and
work
shared
will be
instantly
yeah.
to everyone across the entire world.
Yes.
The ability to chat with somebody live in Australia
yes.
and they already know about what
and
you did
talk to
yesterday.
know
that's
about,
outrageous.
Know
when you think
about your
it,
friend
yeah.
from school in 30 years' time, and you haven't seen them in decades. Yeah. Well, it's the whole social landscape. I think like people would be so flabbergasted by the way the world works now.
Yeah.
Like you've got a phone, you know anything. Google Maps. I mean, even like Google Maps.
Google GPS,
Yeah.
the US
There's
government.
so many things that we take for granted that people would be like, what?
Yeah.
You can just type in a location or even ordering food on your phone.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just going,
Okay.
Deliveroo,
you know
bang.
the story behind that?
Go on.
So the technology existed for ages. I think it existed.
GPS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it existed like post World War II, that sort of time. But the US government owned it and they intentionally scrambled the signal.
Oh,
So
mad.
like the US government for decades were able to pinpoint exactly where anything was at any time, but they scrambled it so that you could only pinpoint it to within like, I don't know, a block or 2 blocks worth of,
Jesus.
a street. And then I think it was Reagan, but I don't remember exactly. One of the presidents. Ray. Yeah, Ray in his White House decided one day that he was just gonna
free the tings.
He freed the tings for the people. So he didn't. I don't think he completely freed it. He like made it within.
The tings were only partially freed.
It was part freedom.
They were ings.
But he made it within like 2 cars width or something. He like made it better to the point.
The resolution was higher,
yeah, so that ships could use it. And then one day, I think towards the end of his presidency, he said,
you know what?
It's had so much benefit.
It's time to free the tings.
He completely freed the tings.
I bet presidents get like that, or people in power when they know they're about to go out of power.
Yeah.
They
Trump
just go,
literally just for some reason freed a ton of rappers.
Yeah, it's just
I don't know what that was.
Like,
there was so many things that people thought Trump would do, like about JFK, 9/11.
Yeah.
He went, you know what? Let's get ASAP Rocky.
Yeah.
I don't know how that was the
why
decision.
not? Yeah, exactly. No, it is remarkable. Well, on that, like in terms of, I don't know, location, it is also, I think, what people like from the 70s, for instance, would also think is how little privacy we have nowadays.
Oh, that would
think about it. Like, I'm pretty sure the UK is the most it's the most surveyed company.
It must be China
company.
now.
I think
Is it
Singapore. I think
are they the most intrusive?
Singapore and the UK. I think
But any street corner, you're being watched.
Yeah.
Your phone is a tracking device all the time. If you're connected to Wi-Fi or mobile data, they can triangulate from the signal.
There's so many
strength,
things that take
the cookies, data on the internet. I mean,
the chips from the vaccine.
I don't know if I can say. Yeah. Exactly.
All right in the
5G towers.
Yeah.
Just to be clear,
I don't know if I
there are
can-
no chips in your
They're
vaccine.
safe and effective.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many steps in order of like slightly taking away your privacy that you have to take in order to. Because if you were to jump from era to era, people would obviously say no, but you have to slowly take people's privacy.
I mean, the thought that you have devices. Listen, I mean, is there an Alexa in here?
Yeah,
That is listening to us.
Don't
Right.
do that.
Yeah, she is. We've had
She's
this
been in a
debate.
mood
Yeah,
today.
yeah. Alexa, yeah.
Okay, so all right,
But
we
that's listening
talked
to us.
about
Like,
we
it's
talked
mental.
about this as well slightly.
Yeah.
But if you were to go back even further, like Jesus kind of era, what technologies could you go and bring to people? Or okay, let's put it like this: what could you bring to people in that era that would make you the world's most successful man? But you have to know the whole way of it being done. So, for instance, if you asked me to show them electricity,
you'd have to implement the technology,
Yeah,
and
right.
build it.
they'd put me in a fucking nut house if I
Yes.
tried saying that it's electricity because I couldn't show them.
We spoke about this, and I reckon I could show them electricity. But I was thinking about it. They would need to already know how to mine the correct
That's what I'm
materials.
saying. Yeah, like
So
copper
it's-
or whatever. the
Yeah,
fuck.
so they would need to get copper and no steel, and I think they were.
Yeah. What could you even show them how to mine copper or something?
I wouldn't
could
know
you
where to
point them in
find
the?
it. I mean, yeah, exactly.
Could
I'm
you point them
sure-
in the right direction for anything?
I could get them tin.
There's probably
I know a man. I know a guy.
there's probably
They've already got tin.
yeah.
That's the.
Tin Edmund. Man.
I don't know if this is pretentious, but there's maybe soft skills
Okay. Yeah.
that could be
This
taught.
is where I went with my head. but-
Is that where you went in terms of like obviously Jesus was a pretty good public speaker. I think we can
Yeah.
all agree on that. But
Smashed it.
yeah, but it's one of those things where surely the soft skills or like techniques or business principles
Yeah.
that could be taught. Even
Like
at that
show
point,
them how to nutmeg someone with a football.
wow.
You need a football. They don't have a football.
That's what I'm saying.
But,
Like,
like,
the whole manufacturing side
Yeah.
of things is such
Yeah,
a
myth.
That's
bottleneck.
what
But
you're
Yeah.
gonna get them done, isn't
what you could do is you could write Harry Potter because you know the story and
I
you
don't
could
reckon
set.
I could.
Mine would definitely deviate. Like for some bit, they're going to Mordor, or like I'm definitely mixing up seven
It'd be a
different
bit of
films.
it'd be a bit of a mashup.
Yeah,
of,
greatest hits.
I could tell someone better than me at writing the idea, and they could write Harry
Look,
Potter.
man, I have an
but
idea for a
yeah.
bit. Yeah.
I'm not sure how far that's going to get me.
Yeah. I think that's all I could do is probably rehash some cool creative
I reckon-
stories and stuff. Not films because obviously, but plays. I could probably
plays.
Yeah,
Theatre.
Friends, the
I could give
ancient
them-
Greek
I
theatre
reckon-
performance.
Ancient Greek theatre. Yeah, maybe.
I
Do
don't know.
all the characters.
Yeah.
A sitcom where everyone's just sitting down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're gonna be bringing out a couch. You can't have a couch because we don't know how to make couches.
No, it's stones. Yeah,
But could you probably do couches? Because you could say feathers and leather. They probably know how to make leather.
I don't think they would care for them.
No, I know.
Yeah, they're stand-up guys.
I know.
They like walking.
I mean, the Romans used to have a whole culture over bloody hell my history on this pod. The Romans used to have a whole culture of like, I want to like lie on your bed as They would lie down and like eat their grapes. And then
the pose.
Well, they'd also feather they'll throw up as well. To eat more.
Tacky chuns.
Yes, the TC. No, but it's one thing you could teach them is again, I'm not a history buff, but in terms of geography, so you could tell them like if you want to
no compass, how you getting a compass?
Compass you could do.
No, but you would just like
how?
Well, you need
east to west and things
metal,
like.
and
you need to magnetize it.
You can magnetize it by hitting it in a hammer in a certain direction.
Where are you getting a hammer from?
With another bit of metal.
Or you can get a cloth. No, you can get a cloth and rub it, and it will take electrons off.
You could make a compass.
I reckon.
Did they have a compass?
But you could say like, look, like,
I don't think where that would just completely transform.
You'd have to figure out. You'd have to figure out where you were first. Do you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't want to be in Africa. Think you're in. No, but they wouldn't know.
Yeah, what?
Well, about where Africa is.
Well, because like, say you
they're
think,
know.
Say you think.
I don't know how much the world community knew.
Say you think you're in Africa, but you're actually in, I don't know, South.
Definitely.
All right, they knew about Africa.
They knew about Africa.
They knew some things were going on.
All right, well,
they didn't know
maybe
about the New World.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, surely you could maybe play a part in interconnecting things.
Yeah, I like that one. The magnet, I like that. Yeah. I reckon I could take world physics forward by about 1,000 years.
Yeah, gravity. No, you'd say gravity.
Yeah, but the thing is, what you also have to avoid is being burnt at the stake for being a witch.
Yeah, that's
You have to really
I'd have to write it all down and just leave it in places. Until somebody picks it up.
Just have loads of apples falling off trees.
But that's also interesting because in hindsight, you know what people got punished for. So you'd also know how to navigate around social conditions of the era. Because that is the thing about this. You've got to not be so sick that you do get burnt at the stake. Because if you're fucking sick, they're going to burn you.
Well, you wouldn't get burnt. That was too early, but you'd get put up on a cross.
They're not burning. Oh, yeah, you'd be crossed.
Yeah, that was later.
Crucified.
Yeah, you'd be crucified.
Yeah, so you're trying to avoid getting crucified.
Yes, which, you know.
I mean, that's a day-to-day struggle for me.
Yes, yeah.
So, you're trying to find things. You got to try and find a way of bringing in these new ideas without people going, hang on a second.
Yeah.
What does he know?
Let's shame him.
What demons has he spoken to recently?
Yeah, there's some voodoo stuff going on.
Exactly. That's what you need to avoid. Yeah. So your rise to complete, societal dominance is magnets.
Was that the question?
Magnets and physics.
Magnets and physics. And also, I'd make like a really banging cottage pie or something.
Yeah, you got dishes.
I got dishes for days.
Yeah, you could just open a restaurant and
people.
Did they have? Okay, this might be a dumb question. Did they have restaurants back then?
Yeah, they will have.
They had the nolan-ey, which was where you'd go to drink alcohol.
Ooh.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, could you cuisine?
They did, but the thing is, again, like thinking of rise of the middle class, that all came much later, so there weren't many people that would go out and eat. You'd be invited to your rich friend's house who had a cook.
Also, you'd be able to teach them hygiene. Whether they'd believe you or not,
but that's the exact thing that gets you crucified.
Women.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
because
how is he saving all our lives? Kill him.
Yes, exactly.
God, isn't it?
Birth and like tooth decay and things like all that kind of stuff.
That stuff was again like early Victorian times, and they didn't listen to.
Well, no, they had sewage in Rome.
But no, birth's a good one. You could literally double the population probably through safer birthing. You're literally just washing your hands when you.
But they wouldn't listen.
That's the thing. The guy who discovered, the guy discovered germs wasn't believed until after he was dead. Yeah. So he was shunned by all his peers.
Long ago. That was like 200 years ago.
He lived in depression because he had this theory that he went by, and doctors who like people who deliver babies, doctors or midwives or whatever it was, it was like, right, well, no, I'm not going to wash my hands.
Why
You're
did
an
I do
idiot.
that? Yeah, it's just like waste.
And then only after did they start washing their hands.
That's outrageous.
So that's what I'm saying.
I actually did medical history as one of my GCSEs.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I reckon I could do a bit of that.
Well, remember horrible history?
It was like in the plague. Like they had the plague doctors, and they just put that's it. Horrible history.
I love that. That was good.
It was good.
But it was like plagues. It was like plague doctors in the plague, in the bubonic plague. They just put herbs in. You know, they had those really,
wasn't it?
Yeah, they had those really creepy like bird masks, and they'll put like all the herbs in there.
It's like quite a good like festival outfit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've not seen that one. Yeah, if you rocked up
just like a group of plague doctors.
Yeah, what were they called? Is that a witch doctor? Or is that something else?
I think that's something else.
Oh. Is it a witch
Spider-Man.
doctor? No, I'm pretty. Yeah, Witch Doctor. That rings a
I
bell.
thought it was Plague Doctor.
I remember Assassin's.
Shows you what my
maybe it
medical
was.
GCSE was for.
No, it might be Plague Doctor. I
Just bring it
remember
up.
there was a skin in Assassin's Creed where you could be a
that's
plague
exactly
Witch
what
Doctor,
reminded me
and
of
that
it.
was badass.
I mean, yeah, we've been rolling for an hour, so I'm pretty. I think that's pretty good. You got any final thoughts, feelings, or fantasies? We could talk about
might
that
save
off camera.
Yeah, we'll let people warm up to us first before we start going to
I'll
the
need a
real
whole
nitty
different
gritty.
Snoop for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That'll be my. Yeah, what colour would your fantasy Snoop be? Like glittery or something?
Yeah, I don't want
I
to
reckon I'd be
explain that.
taking
Mine
it
would be
off.
fishnet Snoop. With that,
On that note.
On that
Thank you for
absolute
listening.
bombshell.
be sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and do the stuff. And tell us your favourite fantasy.
Go to the gym, have a skank.
Yeah,
Go into your local shopping market in your slippers. You know, you
Slide in.
might have an epiphany.
Goodbye.